showtime! CFM Radio.
Welcome everyone. CFM Radio. We are live.
Greetings and thank you for joining us once again on another Wednesday evening for your dose of video game music and news.
Video game music and news, CFM Radio. Tricks. What have we been playing this week?
You know, my pinball league started up again, so I've been getting in competition shape for that, but I actually made a trip to Las Vegas last weekend, and I stopped by the Player One video game bar, and they have quite a tasty selection of cabinets. Most of everything's on free play except the pinball, and they have a good selection of machines. But some of the standout cabinets I got to play were a Rival Schools cabinet, which is also a Dreamcast fighting game, but you don't see that a lot anywhere. There's an old Atari game that's like head-to-head, up to 4 people can play, called Space Lords. And it's almost like a first-person Starship game, but like from the 80s or something.
I've never heard of that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's not something you see too often. And yeah, a lot of old school cabinets and stuff over there. There was another game I played where you mounted like you sat down on something like a motorcycle, and it has like this, old pilot joystick and some wireframe graphics and stuff. It was really cool. So I've been on a bit of an old school trip in the physical arcade world.
Well, hey, that's awesome. We can never forget our roots as people who love video games. It's one of those things, gamers, we grew up in the arcade, pay to play, and, what was it? It was the PS2 that was the console that was said to have bridged the gap between arcade hardware and at-home console hardware. So I don't blame you for enjoying a lot of those old school arcade games, man. I love a lot of old school arcade games, mostly fighting
Stun
games.
Runner. That's what it was called. It's another Atari game.
Man, that's cool.
You don't see a lot of those around anymore.
You know what arcade I was going to say, what arcade games I miss? I miss the mech ones. The ones that you'd get into the big pod and you were in the mech suit. And you're playing the game on the 3 monitors with the 2 joysticks. I love those games.
Yeah, or the Virtual On game in the arcade.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, different experience playing that one on a console.
It's so fun. It's so fun in the arcade, and the console's great and everything, but man, the arcade experience in that game is unmatched. Same thing with a lot of people may not know, but F-Zero GX on the GameCube actually has an arcade version as well, F-Zero AX, and they're the same game pretty much. There's a couple of different unique tracks between the 2 games, but I gotta say, if you haven't, or if you've never at least seen the arcade experience, it's really cool. It was a really awesome game to play in arcades if you could. So yeah, man, I totally get why you would be down with checking out all those old school arcade machines, especially the good ones that are really different, like that, the 4-man head-to-head fighter,
Yeah, and the atmosphere in that place is crazy. It's absolutely decked out in just everything video games, every inch of that place. There's a Portal poster in the bathroom, screenshots just printed everywhere, and the bar is covered in video game history, in a timeline showing you which games came out when. It's a cool place to be. It really struck a chord for my inner nerd. And it's outside of the usual Dota and my pinball playing that I try to, that's what I try to keep sharp lately as far as my skills go. And of course, our Super Mario RPG stream has been going very well.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll see the end of that in the next couple streams here.
Hell yeah, you've been kicking ass on that game, man. You're on the home stretch, dude.
Yeah, just finished the Axum Warriors. We had a bit of a boss rush last time.
Yeah, that's
probably
an awesome
fought 4 or 5 bosses in a row.
That's one of the best parts of the game.
Star piece. Yeah. I definitely remember to clip a little bit of that, so we might be revisiting it some time on stream and in our social media content as well. You know,
Absolutely.
a lot of fun video game footage that I get to cut up and show everybody on the internet.
And we get to play it for you here on CFM Radio. You know, CFM Radio, the B-roll that you see, watching it, that you get to watch while we tell you the news and stuff like that. It's all us. Oh, Game Junction, what's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, man. Like, this is all us. We love playing all these games. Drix mostly tackles the more retro stuff. I tackle the newer stuff. But you know, I gotta say, push comes to shove, Drix, I think this year of gaming is in full swing. We've got a lot of games. We had a bit of a mellow January, I would say, and
yeah,
you know, and now we're at the tail end, and boy howdy, we got some big games.
Yeah, I mean, you know, no doubt the biggest one right now is Pokemon with guns.
Pokemon with guns, Palworld. That's not all. We've got crazy games coming out. We'll get to the new releases at the towards the middle of the show, but we're hot off the heels of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Drix, that game is still sitting at what, an 8, 9 on Metacritic. People love it.
Wow, good. Yeah, back to the side-scrolling roots. You know, you got to study the classics and learn the basics first, and to make, you know, anything good, really.
Oh yeah,
know your history, and yeah, they took a step forward and backward at the same time, and it looks like it paid off. You know, just like Baldur's Gate 3. You know, nobody wants to play turn-based games anymore. Well, we'll show you.
To Sven Vinky, everyone plays turn-based games. They're the most popular. They're every game on your phone is a turn-based game.
Yes, arguing in the comments is a turn-based game.
Exactly, absolutely. And if you're on YouTube enough, you know that for a fact. But I will say, going back to your point, you know, no doubt right now the biggest game is absolutely Palworld. Pocket Pair's Palworld. People are loving it. It sold what? It outsold Pokemon Legends Arceus in the first week.
Yeesh.
That's insane. Yes, Palworld. And you know, it's
big numbers up on the board.
Big numbers. And they let out a roadmap. They have a lot of great updates coming out. They just they had the emergency meeting with Epic Games the day of release or the day after release, so that they could implement player servers into the PC version of the game, so you can be playing on the PC version of Palworld with your own concurrent server right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on in this game, but I gotta, you know, it is still early access.
Yeah, so it's only going to get better.
It is still early access, but man, it's making a hell of a first impression, and that's for good and bad, right? Because there's a ton of drama surrounding this game.
Of course, can't have anything nice.
No,
can't have your cake and eat it too.
No way, dude. This game is an asset flip. No way, dude. This game, don't you see these that just copy Pokemon? You know, like. It makes me sad, you know, like, okay, and here's the thing, I've been playing Palworld a lot lately. It's on Game Pass, you know. If you have PC Game Pass, you can play Palworld for, it's included in your subscription. You might as well check it out. I checked it out, I'm hooked. And I'm not one of these people who gets too deep into these survival games, and it's one of those, I've played them. I say that, right? But like, I've put like hours into Rust, hours into Ark. You know what I mean? I know what I'm doing with these games. But and there's, when the rubber hits the road, there's really nothing like, as far as the gameplay, that like blows me away with Palworld. And even on the presentation side, there's nothing too amazing. It's like nothing that I would be like, bro, everyone needs to see this monster or this temple, you know what I mean, or this sunset like in Ghost of Tsushima. There's nothing like that for me. For me, it's the it's just how it all comes together, and it's just a fun game.
Yeah, wow, taking an overall look at the bigger picture, huh?
Yeah, you know, it can be tough sometimes, and especially for these people who absolutely hate the fact that it's like takes inspiration from Pokemon. It takes inspiration from other popular survival games like Ark. People are saying that these assets are just stupid Unreal Engine asset flip, cheap game. The Pokemon,
they just third party sourced out all their graphics and images and sprites and models or whatever.
You might hate survival games, right? But like the thing with Palworld is that it looks fun, and when you have those moments of genuine like, oh, hold on, I've never seen that thing before, and like you're just like aiming down the sights at this freaking monster you've never seen before, you're like, damn, that's kind of cool, you know, like you have that like safari vibe, and it really nails it. But nevertheless, we can never, like you said, Drakes, we can never have nice things, and everybody is saying that it has something to say about this game. But thankfully, there has been some pushback on these claims from the outlet Niche Gamer.
Ooh, so niche.
Yeah, absolutely. The headline is, quote, Palworld creator AI tweets taken out of context. And now,
what could he have possibly meant when talking about AI?
Right, exactly. So here, from the article, the comparisons between Palworld and Pokemon are impossible to avoid, but some have taken it a step further by claiming the CEO of Pocket Pair, Takuro Mizobe, explicitly made new quote-unquote Pokemon using generative AI. The truth? They were discussing how BuzzFeed did exactly that. And then, you know, if you look in the article, once again, the headline is Palworld creator AI tweets taken out of context. When you look at that article, they show you a tweet by at Metal Dragon Kid, and he shows you the side-by-side of the Japanese tweet and the translation.
Oh, could have been lost in translation then.
Absolutely, because they are indeed talking about how they are looking at the BuzzFeed articles and commenting about how it was insane that BuzzFeed was able to replicate such authentic-looking Pokemon.
Oh no! Did a computer get past, Game Freak's cease and desist letters or something?
Oh no! Here's the thing, man. I understand if this isn't your thing, right? Like, I understand the idea to some, if you're a Pokemon diehard, right? Like the idea of Pokemon with guns is kind of jarring, I guess is the right word. But there's no reason to freak out about the quality of the product if people are having fun with it. There's no reason to freak out about the things that like what may or may not be going on under the hood, because at the end of the day, there's no evidence. No one's pulling anything out of the code and being like, look, this is a Pokemon model or this is Pokemon textures, and they literally copy pasted it. It's like no one has done that.
Yeah, no harm, no foul, victimless crime, let people enjoy things.
Honestly, it's so you had this game a year or so ago called Cassette Beasts, and everyone loved it, and it was a Pokemon and then you had Temtem, that was a Pokemon that everyone loved.
That didn't get the same backlash at all.
So come on, I don't understand. I mean, but I'll give it to some people. The AI panic, Drix, it's hardly a surprise.
Yeah, they just, they didn't get the context and the nuance of the subject of their Twitter/X conversation that was going on. They're referring to a BuzzFeed article.
Right.
And sounds like they just reacted to some sort of AI tutorial.
And hey, you know what? It can be tough to engage with art today, knowing that the craft itself could be simply generated in some way and not a specific version of or a vision of a creator. It could be just a version that they picked out from 18 different generated images or samples, I guess you could call them. So I understand that. And that phenomenon is so prevalent that the folks over at Xputer have taken note and of the response that the generative AI is getting at the GDC, the Game Developers Conference. They have an article with the headline that reads, quote, "Survey, developers are concerned over generative AI's ethical impact."
Oh. Is the robot stealing, or are you teaching it, and are you using copyrighted materials to teach the AI? And whose job is it, really?
No, yeah, absolutely.
To use the AI calculator.
Right. And well, we're going to get into that. So here it is from the article. The Game Developers Conference annual survey regarding the gaming industry has revealed that many game developers are concerned about generative AI's ethical impact on the game industry. The survey covered that 56% of developers are worried about future layoffs. And, the article continues with, quote, "According to the survey, 84% of the respondents were concerned about the ethics of using generative AI, while 12% of respondents revealed that they had no concerns. And as per the report, many respondents were concerned that the use of generative AI would lead to more layoffs. But it also goes on to say that 49% of the respondents revealed that their company had been using generative AI, and that the use of generative AI is mostly common among indie developers, as it helps speeding up the development process. And despite the growing usage of generative AI, 4 out of 5 developers were worried about AI ethics," unquote. And so this is like this web seems pretty tangled. On one hand, you've got the undeniable aid it gives to indie developers, but on the other hand, is it ethical?
Yeah.
Will it just lead to layoffs?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to lay off a lot of people from small indie developers. But
right, that's how I see it too.
But there's also a lot of really talented artists out there, who are, might be a little hungry still.
Yeah. No, absolutely, because it's one of those, to me, it's an idea where I understand trying to save resources, especially if you're an indie developer, but it seems like, at least from how it's being presented by Xputer in this article, it seems like the idea behind this presentation is something like, well, this is a really questionable action, right? This is something that's really, we're riding the line because some people really think it can drive change for the positive, while big companies are exploiting it to just lay people off.
Yeah, I mean, how many corners can you cut to, and still maintain whatever level of quality you've already established?
Truly.
Is it what's better in the short term may not be better in the long term?
No, the between generative AI in gaming and gaming subscription services through streaming, the industry is undergoing a enormous change in both how we experience our games and consume them, like how we obtain them. The continued like we were talking about last week, the physical media. There's so many. There's a lot of the landscape of gaming is changing rapidly under a consumer's feet, and it's very, very difficult. Like I said before, it's very, very difficult to engage with the medium as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. There's
because
so many
what do you want to support? How do you vote with your wallet when like when there's so much change going on? Like maybe one of these games you really, really like and you think it's fun, but you don't want to support it because it might set a precedent. You know what I mean? It seems like Palworld is setting some sort of precedent.
Yeah, what will be the message, for gamers to take away, like once it's all said and done, and the dust settles?
Absolutely. But you know what, Drix? That's for the gamers to decide, and that's for everybody to decide in the future. Right now, we got to jam out to this spacey groove you got going on. What is this?
This is from Rave Racer, I think the arcade game. The song's called Rare Hero 3, the Pacific Mix.
Rare Hero 3 Rave Racer. You heard it here.
CFM Radio.
We are live. We'll be back with new game releases. All right, we killed a lot of the
Let it hit 'em.
Coming up next, we got Burning Sorrow from Vandal Hearts.
Kad bi svi ljudi cijelog svijeta
CFM Radio.
djeci treba mir, duša u igri puna snage u slobodi, nada u budući miran san. Let je let i pad je let, c'est la vie, mon ami. U sjaju je linija neba i nas. Tuga svijeta ne gori, neka ljubav se rodi. I pad je let, nadaj se, mon ami. I kad se pada, postoji nada, c'est la vie. sve će to jednom prekriti snijeg. Moja duša ne gori, neka vječnost se rodi. Let je let i pad je let, mon ami.
Clusterfucked Media.
CFM Radio, Clusterfuck Media. We are here.
Yo, welcome back. Burning Sorrow really make you feel ways about stuff. But this track we got playing right now is called Headbangerin' from Lethal League Blaze.
Lethal League Blaze, one of my favorite songs with a killer OST. Absolutely sinister at times by the ace himself, Hideki Naganuma.
Yeah, he's got a track that I like to play on CFM Radio on that OST. Ain't nothing like a funky beat.
I love that track. But you know what? We've got a big week, Drix. It's a big week for new games.
Oh yeah? A lot of stuff happening. Year starting to kick off here in 2024.
Absolutely. First up, we have the classic collection of adventure games following a certain lawyer, but maybe not the one you're thinking of.
Oh my.
Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy is hitting PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC tomorrow, January 25th. From the Steam page, quote, join rookie attorney Apollo Justice and his mentor, the legendary Phoenix Wright, in this collection of 3 games. This title features 16 episodes, including previously DLC-only episodes, and supports English, French, German, Japanese, Korean, and traditional and simplified Chinese. Drix, do you like Ace Attorney?
You know, I really like that the game mechanics and the gameplay, and that's the way I think a mystery game should be done. You know, using your head, picking up on clues, and you know, what a great meme objection is.
Oh hell yeah. Especially when you pull that shit off of Marvel vs. Capcom. So dope.
Yeah, they also give them a few sweet combos, don't they?
Yeah. But hey, you know, I love Phoenix Wright. I love the Ace Attorney series. I kicked myself every day that I didn't pick up a copy of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright on the 3DS.
Wow.
It makes me so sad that I don't have that game, because I think that game is like $200. So
yep, it's one of those, huh? That just only got more expensive as it got older.
Yeah, you know, one print run, baby, that'll do it to you. Like,
yep, collectibles.
Speaking of collectibles, a game that will probably have you running around for a lot of them. Next up, we have the latest for you Yakuza fans in Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth.
Yeah, I mean, am I hearing this is, you know, it's got a bit of an Animal Crossing feature to it, where you can just, you know, roam the beach and dig up your treasures and collect insects and things.
Dude,
in addition to your turn-based combat and RPG.
From what I hear, this game has like a whole like globe-trotting element to it. Like you go like around the whole world. Like you go from Japan to Hawaii. Like it's crazy. Like. But
yeah, chasing the horizon as one of our favorite gangsters, huh?
Oh, hell yeah. And here it is from the Steam page. Quote, 2 larger-than-life heroes, Ichiban Kasuga and Kazuma Kiryu, are brought together by the hand of fate, or perhaps something more sinister. Live it up in Japan and explore all that Hawaii has to offer in an RPG so big, it spans the Pacific. This one hits your PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC tomorrow, January 25th. Sorry, Switch owners.
Yeah, maybe a little too intense for your current gen of portable handheld. You know, if you're not playing on a Steam Deck, that is.
Hey, but that bad boy's gonna be hitting Game Pass. You better believe it.
Ooh, so yeah, maybe their player numbers will be shooting up. I think I have a theory it's easier to get bigger numbers earlier on release if you're on Game Pass, but we'll see
Probably.
how sustainable that is.
Probably. Hey, you know what? Sega's in the like they're all in on with Microsoft too, as far as the Yakuza series and all that stuff. So makes a lot of sense. I mean, you could play The Man Who Lost His Name right now. So, and if you haven't played that game, you probably should. It's a great game.
Yeah, no, we did a little bit of coverage on that, and just the whole series is just so finely crafted and
Absolutely.
gives you a lot of things to enjoy that you really wouldn't expect, just picking up any game. A lot of cultural, references.
Especially from the storylines. These storylines are practically impractical, I guess I could say.
Oh yeah, it's like South Park or like a TV show that's just gone on for like a very long time.
A very long time.
Now we're getting into the here, let's try these wacky settings and see how we can mismatch.
We've moved away from like real estate scams and import what is it? What do we call it? Contraband operations and things like that. Smuggling operations.
Yeah, these aren't your average 2-bit criminals anymore. They've led long gangsterlicious lives.
Yeah, so Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth coming out, hitting you tomorrow, the 25th tomorrow the 25th on everything except for the Switch. And finally, Fist meets Fate in Tekken 8. It hits you this Friday, January 26th, from the official website. Quote, after defeating his father, Heihachi Mishima, Kazuya continues his conquest for global domination, using the forces of G Corporation to wage war on the world. Jin is forced to face his fate on head-on as he is reunited with his long-lost mother and seeks to stop his father Kazuya's reign of terror. And this game has a Guinness World Record for being the longest-running video game narrative in history. I don't know how accurate that is, but it's been going on since like 92.
Yeah, I'm not up to date on all my Tekken lore exactly, but it has been around as long as there have been 3D and like disc games.
Pretty much, as long as there's been a PlayStation, I would say.
Yeah.
But so the game is coming at you with new modes such as Arcade Quest and the Tekken Fight Lounge that see you making a custom avatar to immerse yourself in the world of Tekken. There's also the new Heat system, and that gives players the ability to harness aggressiveness as their weapon and incorporate these new offensive tactics into their playstyle. The game bills itself as the, quote, fighter for a new generation, so it is only available on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series consoles. Drix, this game looks beautiful.
Yeah, no, graphically amazing, and it seems like they've got a couple new mechanics, tricks up their sleeves, and I can't wait to feel how the grappling is in this one. Tekken was always the grappler, at least for me anyway, between, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and other fighting games.
No, absolutely. I definitely think that
4 buttons instead of 6 or 8.
No, I absolutely think that, especially when you take a character like King, whose grapples are multiple grapple, then another grapple, and like he's doing like the whole sequence, and you're just throwing your opponent, like you're getting your opponent in like a leg lock, and then transferring over to a fucking a headlock, and then picking them up, and then hitting them with a clothesline. You know what I mean? Like, it totally. I understand where you're coming from. Grapplers in Tekken definitely feel great, and Tekken 8 will be hitting you this Friday, January 26th. But you know what, Drix? We have a very, very sunny beat in the back going on right now. What's going on with this?
I'm gonna play another song or two from Prop Cycle, since I was in an arcade over the weekend. Prop Cycle is the arcade cabinet where you hop on a little bicycle, and I think it's by Sega. Your character flies around catching balloons for points and doing time trials and stuff. Pretty fun game if you ever get a chance to hop on one.
Sounds good to me. Let's keep on jamming. We'll be back with more video game news.
CFM Radio. Video game news.
CFM Radio, we are back.
We are live, and that was the Flying Fairy, a vocalized version from Bravely Default.
I loved Bravely Default, one of the best 3DS RPGs.
Yeah, I haven't picked that one up yet. I'm still trying to work my way through Octopath Traveler before I bite into any more super long RPGs.
Hey, you know what, man? I don't blame you. Octopath Traveler is a long one.
Yeah, I want to play the sequel to that and see how much better that improved. But the track right now that we're listening to is called Daddy Mulk. Seems like kind of a strange name, but it's from the Ninja Warriors, and this band is really... They were Taito's house band. I think they even did the music for like Space Invaders and stuff.
What? Whoa.
You can find a cool live... Yeah, they were around for a while. And they even performed this live. And there, you might find some video of it, of like an old show from them on YouTube. They had a kind of funny name.
That sounds awesome, though.
Hold on, I'm gonna look into the name. Zuntata. That's the name of the game, or not the game. The band. There was like Taito's house band. Yeah, Zuntata. They have a pretty stacked like Spotify page.
Oh.
But yeah, this was one of their hits from the game, the Ninja Warriors.
Zuntata, the Ninja Warriors, right here on CFM Radio. That's what's up.
Clusterfuck.
Synonymous with the Taito sound team. They might otherwise be called.
The Taito sound team, and you know what? We love to hear the greatest stuff from the past generations. But we were talking about the new generations just a minute ago before the break, and you know, I got to tell you, Drix, I think the new generation is showing its age these days with all these great games. You know, especially all the great games last year. We're talking about Tekken 8 is supposed to be a next generation fighter. We got Mortal Kombat 1 right here on the screen. Like, that game was badass. Like,
yeah, I got a chance to pick that up at the video game bar, actually, since they had some controllers across the bar, and I actually played it for the first time. It was really cool.
Yeah, they played really well.
Despite the locked roster that you have to pay to unlock, you know.
But you get a respectable amount of characters for free.
Yeah,
Milena
comes back. Milena and Kitana, you know, our favorite lady ninjas from past Mortal Kombat games. Gotta show respect to them.
Hell yeah. But you know, they're built. You know, we have a lot of these great games on the current generation of hardware. But I think one data point that really shows the impact of the latest line of gaming hardware is sales. And from VG Charts, the headline is, quote, PS5 outsells the SNES in sales.
Wow. I mean, what a push for electronics manufacturing. I mean, you must be lucky if you still have a Super Nintendo in your house, because you're more likely
Seriously.
to PS5 now.
Yeah, honestly. And more people own a PS5 than owned a Super Nintendo at the time of its life. And, VG Charts, in their article, goes on to say, quote, the PS5 has sold an estimated 52.96 million units worldwide through December 2023, while the SNES sold 49.10 million units in its lifetime. And then they go into their breakdown further into the article. Quote, breaking down the sales by region, the PS5 has sold an estimated 20.56 million units in North America, 17.38 million units in Europe, 4.97 million units in Japan, and 9.74 million units in the rest of the world. So this compared to the SNES, which sold 22.88 million units in North America, 8.15 million units in Europe, 17.17 million units in Japan, and 0.90 million units in the 0.90 million units in the rest of the world. It totally, we've reached a point where the install base is there. People own PS5. There is no question.
Yeah, not only do they own them, but own them more than anybody ever owned a Super Nintendo. So you never know. Maybe, depending on how long it takes for this generation, maybe it'll try to catch up to the PS2 numbers or something.
And hey, while it is still behind the Xbox One and the 3DS, I think the milestone is just a symbol of how entrenched we are in the state of gaming. And like I said, last year was a crazy year for games. We had so many really good games and really impressive games that showed off what the consoles can do. Never mind games, amazing looking games, right? Like Baldur's Gate and the new Cyberpunk expansion. There are games like the new WarioWare game that really showed you the power of what that Joy-Con could do.
Yeah, and its little IR camera too.
All of its many quirks,
Only for Switch. Only a Switch could do this.
Only a Switch could do that. There's so many games that have really shown off the power. Final Fantasy 16 showing off the power of the raw visual, the raw breathtaking visual muscle of the PS5. And for what it's worth, say what you want, but Starfield really gave us an open world style RPG. I guess you call it open universe, open world style RPG that on that scale we've never really seen it before.
No, they really did achieve something with that. Not a lot of space travel. At least I haven't seen anything like that since No Man's Sky, and even that took a while to get where it is today.
I was gonna say.
So just imagine where Starfield is headed.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's definitely been. There's definitely been growing pains. I'm not gonna say that there wasn't I'm not gonna say that these consoles always had killer lineups. You know what I mean? And always had reasons that you wanted to go run out and buy them. Fuck, half the time you couldn't even buy half of these fucking consoles, never, half the time you couldn't even find them in a store. So.
Yeah, that, there was a whole COVID pandemic thing that happened, and we're still seeing some of the ripples, ripple through the gaming industry. I think we reported on it last week or a week or two ago, and yeah, decisions were made back then that we are still seeing the repercussions of.
Absolutely.
In the game industry.
But we've got everything seems to be in the full swing for January. And before we head out of here, Drix, this track, we got some kicking percussion. What are we listening to?
Oh man, we're just reaching the end of that Daddy Mulk track.
Oh
from
shit.
Ninja Warriors. Yeah, I like to let that one ride. They really rock out, and that's why that's why you probably get a live version of that on the YouTube. But you know what? Are we heading out after this, or do we still have another story?
I think we're heading out. But you know
All
what?
right.
Let's play a couple songs before
All right.
before we call it quits for good.
Coming at you next is Still Alive from Portal.
A classic.
CFM Radio.
I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead. But there's no sense crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake. And the science gets done and you make a neat gun for the people who are still alive. I'm not even angry. I'm being so sincere right now. Even though you broke my heart and killed me, I'm torn into pieces, and threw every piece into a fire. As they burned, it hurt because I was so happy for you. All these points of data make a beautiful line, and we're out of data, we're releasing on time. So I'm glad I got burned. Think of all the things we learned for the people who are still alive. Go ahead and leave me. I think I prefer to stay inside. Maybe you'll find someone else to help you. Maybe Black Mesa. That was a joke, haha, that chance. Anyway, this cake is great. It's so delicious and moist. Look at me still talking when there's science to do. When I look up there, it makes me glad I'm not you. I've experiments to run. There is research to be done on the people who are still alive. And believe me, I
guys. I think that's it.
Well,
from
gamers,
us.
you know, if you watch us, you might know what this song is and or sounds like. I like to call it the CFM theme, also known as Junin, something I whipped up on a computer.
Hey, you know what? If you, like you said, Driggs, if you've been a fan of CFM, we've been using that song for a lot of our as a multi-purpose tool during our various different streaming experiments, and that's been all Drix right there. Drix is the musical brain behind CFM. But I think that's enough from us this week. It's been a crazy week, jumping into the brand new year of gaming.
Yep, everybody rejoice because we're getting a couple anticipated new releases with Like a Dragon and Tekken 8. So don't let us keep you from playing any games this evening until next week.
Till next week, and you know what? You're playing a lot of games, so.
It all depends on your skill.
And until next time.
Good night, everybody.